This is the Aptitude Outdoors podcast, where we interview travelers, explorers, and outdoorsmen and women to bring you the best tips and stories from around the world.
So far,
this
is a pretty great show.
This show is brought to you by beer.
Beer.
It's good for you. It tastes good. It sounds good. Craig, what are you drinking today?
I'm drinking the same thing you are.
What? I don't
because
know.
you bought it.
Oh, yeah. I
But
did buy it.
This is the creature from the Algae Bloom, presented by Mommy Bay Brewing Company. It is a wonderful sour double IPA. Sours I like.
They're good.
Double IPAs I like.
So it's like, I don't taste the IPA as much as the sour,
No.
but it's delicious.
It's really great.
Well-
Really knocked it out of the park.
I figured it was a fitting...
It's green too.
Yeah, I figured it was a fitting beer for you because...
Look how green I am right now.
Because you're wearing a green sweater for those who
Wow.
aren't watching. You have a green, beautifully placed advertising koozie for Aptitude Outdoors.
Yeah.
And you're a big proponent of the Maumee River, where the beer name originated from, the Algae Bloom.
Wow.
I put a lot of thought into this.
That's pretty meta.
Actually, I just saw it at the gas station. I was like, man, Craig would like this. But I pulled that analogy out, which is more amazing than anything.
That's
I think.
impressive.
So on today's podcast, we have Mr. Craig Spicer.
Hello.
Amazing outdoorsman,
Wow.
fanatic of the great outdoors.
Oh, man.
Craig, why don't you give our thousands and millions of subscribers and viewers your take on what is so freaking cool about nature in less than 4,000 words, please.
What is cool about nature? Nature is
Thank
the
you.
only
That was great.
Yeah.
No. No, I'm sorry.
What is cool about nature? Man, there's so many different things that you can, first of all, there's so many different things that you can do in nature. Nature is just such a huge thing that can be experienced in so many different ways. Like, for example, you and I both enjoy mountain biking and kayaking and hiking and camping and kind of more active nature things. But who's to say that you cannot get the same amount of enjoyment out of nature if you are for example, the parks I work for, we are hosting programs based on forest bathing. Have you heard about this?
Oh yeah, it's
essentially
weird to me,
just.
but I think it's cool. I think it's cool that it's getting people outside. It's a little hippy dippy for my blood. But
It is a little.
I like that.
But
it's
you know what?
happening
You know what?
in a way.
Well, you're a hunter.
Yeah. I mean, I would take that very lightly.
Hey,
that
you
term.
go hunting. You're a hunter.
I've hunted.
You have participated in hunting. Who does that? Hunters, right? You hunter.
Generally.
Anyway, but like forest bathing is kind of just like hunting without a gun. You're kind of there.
So it's just sitting.
And you're kind of
That's cool.
Granted, I'm not the best proponent probably to talk about what forest bathing is, but anyway.
No, I am not because I've never done it.
Well,
I
no,
guess,
yeah.
quote unquote. I've never gone to like a class or whatever you want to call it.
Class on forest bathing.
But
Essentially just being outdoors. But also
I have done that. It's pretty sick. I'll tell you.
What's that?
Been outside once. at
Amazing,
least.
right?
Yeah. So
Crazy.
So you elaborate a little bit. What do you? I know what you do for a living,
Yeah.
but you probably have one of the coolest jobs of most people, not only here but on Earth. You literally have. I'm not saying that as a joke. Like, I'm always like, dang, I wish I had Craig's job.
It's enjoyable. Yeah, so I work for a local park district here in the Northwest Ohio area.
Yep.
Oh, got a burp. Sorry.
No, we want those in the podcast.
Oh, sorry.
Those are real.
I'll wait for next time to put it. Anyway, so yeah, work for the parks, and what I do is I'm an outdoor educator. So I can lead people of all ages, ethnicities, socioeconomic backgrounds, yada yada yada, in nature-based education. So whether it's about the environments, or trees, or leaves, or the seasons, or it's about wildlife. I lead people through presentations or outdoor hikes and stuff, just getting them exposed to those different topics. And hopefully along the way, instilling a little bit of respect that they can take through their lives when they make future decisions based on going out in the environment or not. whatever.
You do much more than that, though.
Oh yeah,
You have a way, like, it's much broader than you're making it sound and cooler. You teach people how to freaking kayak, paddleboard, rock climb. Don't sugarcoat this, man. Like, everything that most people want to do for fun, you get paid to do that. And not just like, some people teach rock climbing.
Yeah,
some people are water guides. It's like, that is your job.
Yeah.
And there's not many of you around this area. Yeah. So you're like, you have the market cornered on cool outdoors jobs.
It's true.
It's more than true.
I really do honestly feel incredibly blessed to be able to be in the position that I'm in, to be able to take people outdoors in different cool ways.
Yes.
Whether, like you said, it's canoeing, it's kayaking, whether it's archery, which actually has a lot of fantastic opportunities for conservation education in it.
Love archery.
We're going to be doing top rope rock climbing this year. We've already been doing bouldering, which is low-level rock climbing. We've been doing rappelling. Yes, in Northwest Ohio, we were given a quarry. Yeah, the only way we get height in our area is to go down. So thankfully, a lot of people did the work there for us before in like early 1900s or so.
Yeah, they just blew stuff up.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
A little bit of stick dynamite and some drilling will create some rock climbing and rappelling opportunities. But within those cool opportunities, we have the ability to sort of convey that nature responsibility into it, that little bit of nature education, so that people are hooked by the cool program, but a little bit of respect is instilled within them through the program.
I personally am under the mindset, and I don't know if anybody agrees with me or not, and I really don't care, but
it's very ironic that I'm talking about instilling nature respect. We're talking about an algal bloom.
Algal bloom beer.
Yeah, it's tasty.
My perspective has always been, you're never going to get people excited about the outdoors on a conservation level till they actually like to be outside. So that's why I'm so happy that what you're doing has finally been introduced to this area. Not to say that nobody's been doing it before, but the park systems, not only your park, all the park systems in the area are bringing this like to the forefront. It's like important now. It used to be like you all owned a couple of canoes and you went canoeing every once in a while, and now it's like a thing that people go out and do.
Yeah,
and I'm so happy for that, because I would never have given a crap about nature at all unless I had a bunch of fun experiences. If you're a kid, you go take a walk in the park. Some kids, it strikes them and they love it. That's probably how you were as a kid. You're like an Eagle Scout. You've done all this awesome stuff growing up, and the outdoors, it's probably just been part of your life. I don't know, I'm speaking for you at this point.
No, yeah.
But I'm definitely speaking for you.
Well, I was really fortunate growing up that I lived out in the country right next to like a 15-acre woodlot.
Mm-hmm. Most people don't get that experience.
Most people don't get that.
I mean, in Northwest Ohio, they might. But
and, well,
there's a lot of woods.
There is, but it's really getting chopped up.
Mm-hmm.
It's really segmented. And it's really just kind of getting torn apart, especially with a lot of invasives moving in and that sort of thing. So I think you're right. I would agree with you 100% in that I'd probably say within the last like 10 years, there's been a huge push in our area for the outdoor recreational activities as a part, if not more important than the classic nature education, which I'd lump into that like nature hikes, bird hikes, like
and not that those aren't fun.
No, absolutely.
But for some kids, they're going to be like, "This is boring." Like how many schools do you take out? And there's like one kid that's like, "This is sweet," and then the rest are just like, "Get me out of here!" Like I don't want these bugs. But like kayaking and canoeing, that's like thrilling. It's a different experience. You're seeing animals everywhere.
It's definitely triggering more senses too. It's more of a full body experience more than just like whether you're just using your eyes or just using your ears.
And it's just fun.
Yeah, and it's exciting.
It's like more on the essence of being on a roller coaster than it is like hanging out at the park just doing like weird park stuff, like walking the trail. I mean, for someone like me, that's totally fine. I'll go walk a trail. I will go and walk a trail for 5-6 hours and take photos and videos, and just because I want to. Mm-hmm. But most like a kid that has never had any outdoor experience, they don't want to do that always.
Yeah,
I'm generalizing a ton.
And you're not off base at all there. It's well, I think what we're seeing too in kids is that they have more stimuli now than what they ever had.
You're talking like just from phones and games.
Yeah,
and,
exactly. I'm
and
talking about like technology. Like there's a screen in front of them all the time. Like we're even now. Granted, I'm not a parent.
Yeah.
I
Me
do
neither.
not know. You know, we have no idea.
Well, it's
the stress
funny.
it takes. But like, there's a screen in front of them. It seems like from day one. It's just so like they're getting immersed into this world that's way cooler and way more stimulating than when they put that screen down.
Well, and I don't think you're totally off base here because our first guest we ever had on the podcast, Ryan, he and I talked about this, and he has 3 or 4 kids, and he was saying he wants them outside more and doing more stuff. So I don't think you're totally off base there. I mean, I'm not a huge proponent of saying, you know, kids shouldn't do this because I played video games growing up.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I played so much video games. I could probably still kick your butt in Halo, and I will challenge you to that if you want, to be determined in the future.
Are we talking just like,
yeah,
we're talking Reach or like Anniversary Edition?
any,
or like,
the first Halo, the first
Halo.
Halo, the Halo 1,
all right.
I'll kick your butt.
Game,
We're going to do
game
a completely
on.
unrelated episode of...
I literally can't play Halo with my friends anymore
you'll fight?
because I always win. So.
Oh, finally someone to compete with. Where are we going with this?
Anyway,
but
so yeah, video games are bad.
I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with kids being on the internet, and it's just like a social thing. Like all my nieces and nephews, always playing video games. They're playing Mario Kart. I'll play with them. I bring video games when we go up to the lake in the summer because sometimes they're having too much fun outside, and I just want them to shut up, you know. But
sure.
And so, you know, I don't have anything against video games. I don't want to be that guy that's always like, oh, these video games are ruining kids. But they definitely aren't going outside enough. I'll say that on camera.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, I firmly believe my nieces and nephews, they play video games and they'll go fishing. They're not afraid to touch the fish. They're not afraid to touch the worms. It's great. So, like, I just think there needs to be more outdoors pushed instead of just all video games.
Right.
You can learn about trees and stuff on a platform, a game.
Sure.
But it's not real, like,
just
real life experience.
Go out and look at a real tree.
You can kayak on a game, I'm sure. But kayaking in life is way cooler.
Is there a kayaking video game?
There's got to be. If not, we should make one.
If you know of a kayaking video game, post it in the comments. Or something.
Yeah.
Depending on what
Text
platform
Craig at.
Nope.
But man, I'm super jealous of. Not jealous. I'm super stoked that you have a sweet job like that because you get to do the stuff, and I'm sure it gets tedious after a while. Like you do the same stuff. It's not like you're out there just like blasting rapids all day. Like this is so sweet. Like you got to deal with like people that are not having a good time. And
yeah, and that's one of the biggest things I think that people don't realize about jobs like mine. Like, I mean, like naturalists, like you've had Bill Heflin on, you've had Ashley Smith on. I don't know if you've had like Amanda Domowski on.
not yet. She's coming
Anyway.
though. She agreed to come on the show.
Okay. But jobs like that from the outside, people are like, yeah, it's amazing. And it is. It's incredible when you really step back and think about it. But there's a lot behind the scenes of logistics and safety precautions and making sure that everybody is physically, mentally, socially able to be a part of this group dynamic. There's like...
Well, and you have to have a ton of like certifications.
Right.
You guys are certified more things than I, like doctors for all I know. Like, you know, like woofer, you got like CPR, first aid, all that stuff. You got to have all these like, what is it? The
canoe and kayak instructor, top rope rappelling instructor. There's I don't know. There's everything, just to kind of not just to cover our butts, but also
Make sure
that we know exactly what we're doing because we're not just doing it for us.
Yeah,
like we're doing it for somebody else.
And you're basically like almost like mini event planners.
Essentially,
yeah. Well, I've worked briefly in the field. It's a lot of planning and it's a lot of like looking up facts and making sure you don't sound like a dummy. And but you do know,
like quasi-experts.
You've done it for a long time. How many years have you been in this?
I've been in the field 7.5, 8 years.
So you know a lot. You're not just pulling stuff out of your butt. Like you get.
Well, I still do that too.
Yeah, I know. I've been on some of your walks. Okay.
Hey, easy. I knew that leaf stuff. I would check.
You
back.
did.
I was like, boom, that was right. Anyway.
Craig did a episode of our walking podcast, Tales from the Trail, and that was super fun. I was busting him some trivia on him, see if I could stump him. He knew it all.
Yes.
I felt stupid because I am stupid.
Right.
But so beyond just being like a naturalist, and just a naturalist, beyond your job, you actually do stuff. That's sweet. You and previously we've talked about you just did a big trip out west, but do you have any like life-changing memories of like being a young man or even a teenager, adult, a young lad out there in the wilds?
Oh.
Do you have any like cool stories that kind of like made you be like, this is what I need to do for the rest of my life to like dedicate yourself?
I always actually think about this instance, and I don't know. Anyway, I'll just tell a story.
Yeah, please hurry up and stop.
So, yeah, okay.
We only got an hour.
So, as you mentioned before, I was in Boy Scouts for the whole thing, and was able to go to Philmont Scout Ranch in New Mexico 3 times. If you're not familiar with Philmont, it's this like 1,000 acre reserve, couple of mountains in it, and that sort of thing. Just very backcountry, sort of backpacking trips.
It's like the most famous one as far as
it was like, I think it's the primo high adventure experience that Boy Scouts of America can offer. So anyway, it was a lot of fun. But there was one where we were doing switchbacks on our way up to Baldy Mountain, which is kind of the quintessential, if you've been to Philmont Scout Ranch, like you got to climb Baldy Mountain. Anyway.
Haven't been.
It's okay.
I was a Cub Scout for like 3 months and I quit.
Did you do a Pinewood Derby though?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. What? Oh, that was the best part. Anyway.
It's because I lost. I hated it.
Oh, well, that's okay. So we're doing switchbacks, and I'm kind of taking the trail behind. I'm forest bathing, you could say, as we're hiking along.
I knew
it. I'm letting the rest of the group kind of go ahead. Of course, not great to do in cougar country, but I did it anyway.
Every time we talk, you bring up cougars. I'm not going to go there this time.
I'll watch out for them.
Cougar jokes.
So we're doing switchbacks and everything, and we've been doing them for a little while. And I notice at the very corner of one of the switchbacks, before you're about to turn around and keep going up, there was kind of a break in the trees. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go out here and see what's going on. And there's this big break, this huge clearing. There's perfect little cumulus clouds, just your fair weather clouds that are blowing at a pretty good click. And it's just enough to paint all of their shadows along this kind of rolling pine-covered expanse of foothills of the Rockies. And it was just, I couldn't hear anything except for the wind going through the pine trees. And it was like the loudest whisper that you've ever heard. Like it was just this constant noise, this roar, but not loud, of just nature, of like just the environment. And I stood there for a while and I don't know why, I just started like crying. I was like, this is amazing. How can people not just take the time to experience this just for what it is, regardless of what you're doing? Like, how can people not count this as important?
Yeah. I think you're the first person.
It was from there, it'll just like, this is what I'm doing. This is it.
I think you're the first person to actively write a poem on my show. That was beautiful. I almost cried a little bit.
That was it.
Because
you have one of those experiences,
I do.
Don't you?
I do have an experience just like that. And I was thinking about it as you said it, because I was like envisioning what you were saying, and I was like,
and isn't it amazing how being outdoors, just you create memories there that you'll have forever if they're important and significant enough to you, that will immediately be triggered.
Yeah,
when somebody else starts talking about something important.
Well, you describe that probably the best way it could be described, and I still could not envision like what you saw in my brain, like to the full extent. Like I've seen things like that before. But the experience I had was so similar on the Appalachian Trail. Was you're just up and down mountains all day. Nice, big one. Up and down mountains all day. You're just grueling through this slog of mountains. Yeah. And it's like real shitty rainstorm, just like holy, like terrible day.
Which I appreciated this latest video you sent out of like, wow, nature's cool. And you're like under a bridge next to like a water treatment plant or something.
Yeah, I dug up some old Appalachian Trail videos the other day. I was reminiscing. And, but this one spot, it's just like the worst day ever. We got caught in like a hailstorm. It was lightning and we're like on these balds. There's no cover. I like think I'm going to die. All of a sudden the clouds break. The storm just rolls off in the distance. We get ready to camp, come to this clearing, and it's just like just what you just saw, you just described. It was all like blue. The sky was blue and like dark and looming off in the distance. It's this huge valley, and then there's like that perfect like Paramount Pictures peak like right in the middle of this valley. It's like, oh wow. And I couldn't move. I was like, you get frozen. You're just looking at it like, I'll never see this again.
Yeah.
Like you go there on a day where it's crappy and cloudy and there's no sunlight, or the shadows don't look cool, or you go in the afternoon and it's full bright sunlight, you're like, well, that's okay. But you just get this random moment where it's like everything's perfect and you're just like, this is why I love this stuff.
Yeah. And you're not going to get that every time.
No. That's like a once in a lifetime right there. I think we both just described once in a lifetime experiences.
Yeah.
But it's really, I always try to people that don't like to do anything outdoors, I can't get these visions through every time. Like we could talk about this all day, but until you feel that for yourself, it's just like, these dudes are out of their mind. Like these dudes are just weirdos, hippie guys out in the woods talking about their feelings. Like if anybody knows me, that is not me at all. And I have like, those experiences change your life.
Yeah.
And like, you can't convey that. Do you have like, any other stuff that's kind of like challenged you in the outdoors? Because I always find the challenges too to be really, stand out in my mind. The things that were really difficult that you kind of overcame, like on a trip or even some scenario that was like maybe potentially dangerous. Because I always feel like those experiences, they make you tougher and like more resilient, but they also make you like realize that you're way more like of a badass than you think you are.
Oh, here's another one. This is Philmont again. But I'll probably think of another one after I'm talking about Philmont, because people are like, oh my gosh, grow up. Like, geez, it's been a while.
Dude, high school was 20 years ago. Okay, get over it. Not really 20 years. 10.
Wait.
Getting close.
10, yeah. So we were in Philmont again. We were in a valley, right? And we had just finished hiking up to this campsite. We did the lightning position twice. 30 minutes each time. And if you're not familiar with what that is, go ahead and stand on both feet and then do a squat, and then put your elbows on your knees and then do a prayer position in front. And that's the lightning position. And you have to do that for 30 minutes.
That sounds a lot like forest bathing.
It sort of does. Wow. You just keep coming back to
it. But those crazy experiences always stick out, like the death ones.
Yeah. Well, then we came back, right? So we did that. We finally got to our campsite. The storm was moving on. And we started setting up camp and everything. And there was this little bit of a cut, like we could kind of see around a hill a little bit, and there were more hills kind of through, if you look through there. And a little bit of water started coming through there. And we're like, oh, look, like this little river is coming. And then it got faster and bigger. And the rain had passed by now. But the rain had started to come down the hills into this little trench, right? And it started to come and come and come. And it's cutting right through our campsite, right? So like people have set up tents, and like it's going right between two tents, right? And it just keeps getting wider and wider and faster and bigger. And so we're like, crap. So we like moved some tents over to one side that we could tell the water was kind of wanting to go this way. So we moved the tents over here, but then it started to go towards that way. We're like, oh my God. So there thankfully were like some rocks around, so we made like a dam, like we made like a bank for it, and it was kind of working, and it was like kept going, but then it kept getting bigger and faster, and we're like, we're just gonna have to move. I don't know what's going on, but it was going so quick, like we didn't know what to do, and then finally it just sort of like we kept piling more rocks, and the bank was kind of holding, and then we're like, we're gonna have to move campsite, and like just when we were about to totally pack everything up, like it just kind of stopped. It was like, zoop, and now I'm done.
So did you still camp there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Hey.
Granted, if it rained anymore, it would have been like
you'd have been in some serious trouble.
Swept away or something. But
that
wasn't that hard, I guess.
Something that I always found cool about you, I don't know this at a deep level, but you're also a musician.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes that goes hand in hand with nature. Anybody who plays an instrument, I would consider a musician. You don't have to be good. Okay. I'm playing guitar. I'm not that good.
That's fair.
But
a lot better than me.
All right, enough of this. So, I don't know. Does that have nature have any impact on your music? Do you feel like more drawn to like hippy dippy stuff, or are you like into bluegrass, or do you don't feel like nature has an impact on your music at all?
No.
Really?
No.
I feel like it totally does on mine. Like
I'm
100%.
trying to like bring music to like my programming. Mm-hmm. Like there are a lot of people in the field, like naturalists, who deal with little kids especially, where like they'll be like, "Oh, we're gonna learn about the coyote today," and like whip out a guitar, like go through like
I could see you doing that.
And, like I would love to do that.
Do it.
I don't have the courage yet to do it. There's some people I got to talk to who've done it a bunch. So
the only way to do something is to just suck it up and do it.
that's true, though.
I'll back you up.
See, I know that that's the answer, but I don't want it to be the answer.
Nobody wants it to be the answer, but it is.
Yeah, that's okay.
I'm putting this podcast out there, and there's probably a bunch of people that are going to be like, "This dude's stupid. Why is he putting out a podcast?" But hey, it's my show, and I can do whatever I want. I can be as wrong as I feel like.
I think you're stupid, and I'm on your podcast. So what does that say about me?
You're a smart man.
Yeah.
So you're telling me that there is nature has no bearing on your musical outlook. Nothing.
I've never thought about it.
Doesn't inspire you. It doesn't cause you to like
I'm not like dropping everything and being like, that's a pretty cool tree. I should write a song about trees. Like
no,
I'm
not in that way. But I always feel like it shapes just your being. So it has to be part of it. So as much as nature is a part of your life, it has to influence your music somehow. There's no way it doesn't.
I just haven't thought about it to like.
Well, that's what I'm here
plug
for.
those things together.
That's what I'm here for.
So I'm gonna think
actually
about
a
that
therapy
very
session.
hard.
This is therapy session.
Wow, it's like forest bathing.
We're never gonna get off this forest bathing topic. All right, I'll say it. I just don't get it. I don't get forest bathing.
You don't understand.
I'm gonna come out right
bathing?
and say it. I don't get it.
Oh, it's
I don't
because
have
it's not
anything
your
against
it's not
it.
your mental makeup.
I don't get it. Yeah.
That's because you need to be active. There's different kinds of learners. Some people are like kinesthetic. Some people are just like audible. Some people are visual. So like clearly you're kinesthetic because you like to do the things while you're outside.
In my outlook, if while I'm outdoors and there's no semblance of pain or suffering, it's not that fun.
It's so brutal.
I don't know.
Everybody look at this owl.
Like
And how it just picks a vole out of the snow.
needs to rip its eyes out.
That's awesome.
Cool. No, not in that way.
It's the most metal thing I've ever heard.
I like most people don't go outside when it rains, but I love it.
Oh, I love going outside when it rains.
It's so much cooler because you see different stuff. And most people would say that sucks because they don't like being wet. They don't like being a little chilly. I love it. If it's raining, I will go outside. I've walked through some of the gnarliest snowstorms out at Oak Openings just because it's so cool. You see things that are like what is this pileated woodpecker doing out here in this blizzard? And why does my face feel like it's going to fall off?
You really see it in a total different perspective. I also like going outside when the weather is not great because I feel like those extra senses going on burn that more in your brain. And as long as you come out on the other side, like relatively unscathed, you'll remember that experience.
Well, some of these hikes I've taken when it's like wind chill of like -10 or something, and the snow is just blasting you in the face. Like I don't remember it sucking. It did. I remember that it did suck while I was out there, but I don't remember the sucking. Like I remember being out there and being like, man, this snow, I've never seen snow blow this hard, and my face is like so cold that it hurts.
We're
but
really
at the same
painting
time,
a great picture for the non-outdoorsy people.
Well, this is an outdoors podcast. They're probably not even listening to it.
You're probably off listening to this. You're not listening to this anymore.
You're not like sewing critics aren't out here listening to my outdoors podcast unless they're like outdoors sewing club. That's my whole.
Which nothing bad if you're a sewer.
Yeah, I don't.
I'd
care.
love to make my own gloves. That'd be great.
I don't know anything about sewing. I sewed
Me
my
neither.
backpack together once with dental floss because it ripped. I didn't have anything else.
Sweet.
I've never sewn anything else in my life.
I made a pair of moccasins out
What?
of sinew. Yeah.
Was that a Boy Scout thing or you just did it?
No, I just did it.
How what did you kill a deer and do it?
Yep.
No, you lied straight to my face.
No, I bought the leather and then you buy the artificial sinew and you just do it.
Oh yeah, you do reenactments. We
Yeah.
did a segment of the TV show where you did a reenactment.
Yeah.
That was so cool.
Did that ever air?
Yeah, it
Oh,
did.
well,
I
that's
told
good.
you about it.
Oh no,
You just
I
didn't
saw
care.
It. I saw it.
Nobody
That was
cared.
terrible.
That's
And you know what? And you know what? I actually don't do that event anymore
Really?
because all the reenactors are like, it's too cold, dude.
Really?
Yeah. I'm like, I thought this would be a cool opportunity for you to like show off your cold weather gear. And they're like, well, that's just it. We don't really have any. They're like, oh, well, I got to rethink this whole thing then.
Well, all right. A lot of people don't know this, but I have a degree in cultural anthropology. So like a lot of people would say that this history reenacting stuff is like nerdy. I love it.
You should do it.
I'm not good at that
Why?
because I don't have enough interest.
You have a degree in it.
Yeah, but I don't have a degree in like the War of 1812. I have a degree in like ancient human history.
I don't have a degree.
Yeah, but you're interested in it. You like it.
Enough.
You're interested enough to want to go out there.
You
and
only have
reenact.
to be interested just a little bit. And then when you start diving into these little bitty factoids about all these little tiny events that happened around here in the either Northwest Indian War or War of 1812 or whatever, you just start diving in a little bit and you're like, what? And then it leads you to something else.
Well,
Something else.
my
something else,
favorite
something else.
aspect of the whole thing was the survival aspect of what these people who lived like 100 years ago in the US, even 200 years ago, 300 years ago were how much more brutal it was.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's probably like 30, 40 degrees outside right now. We're inside. We got sweaters. I'm in a t-shirt. You know, it's like we have so much convenience nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
We got cars. You don't have to like buy a musket. You just you can go to Bass Pro and buy like 15 guns and nobody cares. And you can buy like enough ammunition to fill your bedroom. And people are like, yeah, cool, whatever, dude.
Right.
Like it's so much of a convenience world.
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine having to make your own glove? Like, yeah, you can because you did. It just but you had to. There's a whole different ball game.
I mean, I didn't have to,
You did.
but I did
You were compelled to.
because I was compelled to. Yeah.
The deer skin was calling your name.
Yeah. I should note, though, that it was my first attempt at making moccasins, and I royally messed it up. They were like way too big. But anyway,
Well, I have big feet. If you don't want them, I'll take them.
I already hemmed them. I already fixed them, so they're good now. But yeah, the world is a lot more convenient. I think you're just totally dead on with that.
We're doing podcasts for fun.
Right.
In our free time.
But well, you know what's amazing, though? We were talking about earlier how people don't get outdoors as much. Mm-hmm. Do you think it's because the world is so convenient?
Yes, absolutely. One of my best friends, great guy. I won't say his name. Dude hates going outside. Doesn't like to be cold. Doesn't like to
Cold,
be
wet,
in the least
bugs.
bit inconvenient.
Yeah.
Doesn't like to be sweaty.
Spiders out there.
Super content with it's not even that. It's just no discomfort. Everything has to be like amazingly comfortable. And I don't believe in that at a core level. Like, dude, I like air conditioning as much as the next guy. When I'm driving around, it's 85 degrees outside in the summer. I'll have my AC on. But I appreciate when it's hot out. I appreciate, because, like, if you look at the world from a perspective of, I hate winter because I don't like to be cold. I think that's a shitty perspective because that's not in your control and you're missing out on so much. Like, if you take things as they come, in like seasonally or in any aspect, I'm not trying to get like metaphysical here and give people life advice, but like to me, it's so much more important to like enjoy things. Just because it's hot out doesn't mean it sucks. It feels a little uncomfortable, but like go swimming or something.
Yeah.
Like there's so many things to do. You can go kayaking. You can go, and everybody makes excuses like, oh, it's expensive. Oh, it's this. Like you can rent a kayak for like $10. What does the parks rent the kayaks for? Like it's nothing. It's very affordable.
Yeah, you can come on a guided kayaking trip with the parks for $13.
$13. That's like going to McDonald's and getting you.
That includes instruction and all equipment and awesome
like
historical, environmental factoids that you won't know otherwise.
But the point I'm getting at is like people don't enjoy things because they're so used to being comfortable.
Yeah.
Even from a societal standpoint of like even the most like underprivileged people in society in the United States, I'll say that much for the most part, not to get like I don't get criticized online for saying this, but even the people at the like most like disparate level of income in the US still live pretty comfortably compared to like third world countries.
Sure.
Like it does suck, but like so we're so used to being comfortable that like any discomfort sucks. But being someone who's outdoors a lot, I don't find that. Like I'm outside in the winter hunting when it's 15 degrees out and my feet are freezing, and yes, it sucks.
But you're fine.
I don't like my feet to be that cold. And
but you're fine.
Yeah, I deal with it.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
and in fact, you enjoy it.
yeah, I'm like, oh, I'm out here and it's beautiful, and I just saw a freaking great horned owl fly by, and there's a woodpecker over here, and there's a squirrel over here, and I haven't seen any deer at all. But it's just like overcoming that mindset of like, oh, this sucks. Like there's so much sweet stuff to see. I don't know if you agree with me per se.
No,
but
I do 100% because
sorry,
it takes a lot for people to focus past. Oh, here we go. Ooh. Oh, that was nice.
Nice crisp one. Sorry.
It's hard for people to focus past their physical domain.
Yes.
Which is one of the number one challenges for me in my job is I need to make sure that people are comfortable in their physical domain, or else they will not be able to go to the next one and the next one and the next one and the next one until they can, come to the higher echelon of learning and enjoy the experience.
So as an instructor, is it your ultimate goal to get people to enjoy this on their own without having to come to you? I mean,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because when I teach stuff, or when I do any sort of like teaching or even stuff I do online, my goal is to hope that people don't ever watch this again because they're out there making their own outdoors videos and doing stuff. Like, please just go outside. Right. It's so sweet to go outdoors. Like, I can't keep it bottled up in me how much I love it that I have to like talk about it every day of the week to everybody that comes in this door in this podcast. Like,
so then it's how do you encourage people who have that so strict focus? Excuse me.
Beautiful, nice one, dude. I like that.
How do you encourage people to overcome that physical limitation of like, I'm a little bit uncomfortable. Like
sheer awe of the outdoors. You have to take them somewhere or do an activity that's so freaking cool that they're gonna like forget that it exists. That's why I do this job. That's why I'm so focused on doing these. I kind of call them like hook programs. Yes,
because it's so cool, and it requires so much of your commitment of your body, of your senses, that it sort of numbs any like little discomfort. Granted, I need you to be safe. I need you to like not be hurting.
To an extent.
I need you to not get an injury.
Or you got to fill out paperwork.
But they filled out waivers beforehand, so okay. But that's the point: is if you're able to get out and enjoy yourself in a certain activity, then you're willing to forgive some of those discomforts that come with nature. But it takes you to be willing.
It takes a lot. It takes a lot to overcome that. I just have had a lot of being completely shit on by nature to learn that, like,
You kind of you form calluses to it almost.
Yeah.
And the more you expose yourself to the outdoors, the more you're willing to forgive. And the more you're willing to forgive. And suddenly you're out there in like sub-zero weather and the snow's going past you and you're in the middle of a forest and you just see like a great horned owl just perched on like a snowy branch and you can't hear a thing because snow, forest, no people around is like the creepiest, most awesome experience ever.
And I would always say, like, in my brain, the pinnacle of, like, when you know you're just, like, in it to win it is when you know you've kind of, like, fully come out of your shell as an outdoors person is when you sit outside in the middle of the woods at night and you're not scared. That's kind of like the pinnacle of, like, yeah, this is sweet. Like, I've spent a lot of nights out in the woods, and granted, we've talked about this in the past. So you still hear bumps in the night.
Get a little
you're kind of like
out.
You're like, that's
Probably a squirrel.
Your brain could be like, your brain makes a squirrel sound like a 400-pound black bear. Yeah. But once you kind of come to that, if you want to call it Zen, I'm no Buddhist or whatever you want to call it. Forest bather. But dude, people who forest bathe are gonna listen to this and be so mad. And I hope
nothing against forest bathing.
Everything against forest bathing.
Yeah, I'm not with it.
I don't care that people do it. It's fine.
It's fine.
I'm not against anything.
It's yoga outside without actually doing the yoga.
Okay. We've gone back to forest bathing like 5 or 6 times already.
Sorry.
It's. I think we both inherently secretly want to forest bathe. It's funny because when I hear forest bathing, I just think people like in the woods dumping leaves over themselves, like cleanse me, cleanse my nature sins. Like that's not how it works. You're telling me that nature bathing does not actually involve a bath.
No baths, no bats.
Well, that derailed very quickly. We got like super metaphysical and spiritual, and then we started just making fun of forest bathing again.
No bats.
Okay. You're killing me. I completely derailed. I lost all track of what we were talking about. We were talking about something really deep and meaningful. And you killed
exposing yourself to...
No, that ship has sailed. We got to come up with something different.
Okay, shoot.
Anyway.
Sorry about that.
So you drink a lot of beer. I heard you have a problem. No, that's not where this
I do use the app. I got to get out
Untapped?
my Untapped and rate this. I think I'm going to rate it a 10.
You really? Do you think it's that good?
No, it only goes to 5.
I know. Oh. I have been Untapped myself.
I don't know. What would I rate this?
I'm giving it a 4.
7.2 alcohol volume, 35.
It's not. Nothing gets a 5
Ale
for
brewed
me.
with matcha tea and kiwi. I taste the kiwi. You know what really pairs well together is
you're one of those guys.
Craft beer and the outdoors.
I agree.
Oh man,
I actually don't know any outdoors people who don't like craft beer.
See, what is it? What is it then about being outdoors?
We enjoy the better things in life.
Yeah, see,
we enjoy good stuff.
There it is.
I mean, I'll chug a Miller Lite with the best of them, but.
No, I won't.
Well, that sucks because our next piece is called Craig Chugging Miller Lite. Ding, 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 ding. So,
hooray. Gotta
sorry.
Go.
Bust out the beer helmet. No, I actually do find that correlation a lot. I don't want to say every guest I've had on the show, but 90% of them are craft beer drinkers.
Now, you do traveling, right?
Only a little bit.
Where you go, do you seek out craft beer?
Every single time.
Right? What are some of your favorites? What is your number one favorite? Can you explain it?
Listen, I asked the questions here, okay? No,
I want to know about you.
Of all the places I've been, who has the best craft beer? Is that what you're asking?
No, your favorite, in your travels, your favorite venue that was a craft brewery.
Ooh, that's a tough one. I'd have to think about that for a minute. I've been to so many. That's the problem. Everywhere I've ever been, we've stopped at a craft brewery for either dinner or beer. I do want to say that we went to. I don't have a best one in mind yet. I'm still trying to think of it while I'm talking.
Okay.
But the worst one I've had was we went to Williamsburg, and you'd think that like area, it's all colonial, kind of hip. We got a lot of tourist stuff. You'd think they might have a couple breweries down there that were like spot on.
Just garbage water.
Bad.
Ooh,
bad.
That's not good. Maybe it's tourist good.
Nothing's tourist good.
See?
Anytime you go to a tourist place, yeah. So maybe my expectations were too high. I do want to say we are blessed in the fact that we are in Ohio and Michigan surrounded by, and we have some of the best craft breweries in the area.
I mean,
I know this has nothing to do with
biased,
outdoors.
but
oh, no, we're not. I drink a crap ton of beer,
okay.
Dude. I got a lot of check-ins.
I mean, shout out. I'm just going to say Maumee Bay Brewing Company has upped their game in the last, I don't know, 2 years. Like before, like they're kind of the old kid on the block. Like,
were they like the OGs in Toledo?
Right?
Yeah.
And I think they might have gotten a little complacent. I might get some hate for this.
No, I don't disagree.
But I think they got a little complacent. And then you got people coming on the block like Inside the Five, Ernest, which I think it might be some of the best.
Yeah. I'm not afraid to say when I like something.
And I think since then, Maumee Bay's been pumping out some good new creative stuff, and I'm very happy about it. But my favorite brewery that we were ever at was actually it's north of Traverse City.
Okay.
It's on one of the little fingers. I can't tell you, like, because little fingers
we were just
of
up
land
there
shoot up, right?
This last summer.
Hop Lot.
Hop Lot.
Hop Lot. It is this, like, old rusticy barn, like, set into the forest. And they have, it's, like, almost all outdoor seating. And there's, like, this little, like, musical stage kind of deal. And you're just, like, you're in, like, upper Michigan, like, woods, and you're just drinking amazing beer. And it was just phenomenal. Like, I could have just lived there forever.
I thought of it.
Okay.
And back in this point in time in my life, I think this is more of a fond memory than it is my favorite craft beer.
That's okay.
So we were, go ahead.
No, I'm not saying Hop Lot was my favorite beer of all time.
No.
But like the venue was
location
like,
beer.
This is dope. Yeah.
So I guess most of the times I have been drinking craft beer, traveling into places that I've liked to go travel for the outdoors. I guess that it does really correlate.
There we go. Yeah.
And I hate to talk about the Appalachian Trail so much. That's like what everybody wants to know about stuff I've done, because that's like the only thing I've ever done of any
but it's like a
importance
cool,
in my life.
monumental thing. That's neat.
We were hiking.
I'm not going to do the whole thing. But.
And there was a sign that said brewery this way. And I'm like, hey guys, I got a great idea. Let's go to a brewery. So we hitchhiked to a brewery, and they're actually a very popular brewery. You can get their beer around here, Devil's Backbone. They're you never heard of them? They sell it around here. If you go to the craft stores, they'll have some Devil's Backbone. Unless they went out of business recently, but I've seen it up here.
I'll look it up.
I think they're a little larger scale now. They probably got bought out by Budweiser or something like everybody is nowadays. But
like platform rip.
Yeah, bummer. I was sad about that.
I was very sad.
But so we go there. We get beautiful. We go there and we get a lunch, a big hefty thru hiker lunch, like 3,000 calorie lunch, beer, and then we're there, and we're just, people are like, you guys are thru hikers, so they're buying us beer all day, all night. We go nowhere. They let us camp there.
Oh, it's great.
The owner comes out and he's like, you just go camp wherever you want. They had fireworks. It was like on the 4th of July. It was like literally on the 4th of July.
What a great day.
And that is my best travel brewery I've ever been to, because we just basically drank like probably $100 tab for free each. People just kept buying us beers.
That's freaking great.
And, I have gained quite a few pounds because of my love of craft beer. But it's great. And I do think it correlates with the outdoors. I don't know why, but there's nothing better than like drinking some craft out on the porch of like a cabin. Me and my friends, my bandmates.
My happy place, man.
3 weeks, or no, about a month from now, we're going east of Columbus, and we're renting a cabin, and we're just gonna buy a crap load of craft beer and hang out all weekend. That's like our weekend.
Sounds great.
That's me and my dudes.
Sounds fantastic.
We're not going on any hikes probably because they all hate going outside.
wait. You have a podcast
Yeah.
that's supposed to inspire people to go outside.
Mm-hmm.
Yet your bandmates that you are close with
Yeah.
hate going outside.
Well, do you have any friends that don't like going outdoors? You're going to lie to me and say yes? You're telling me every single one of your friends wants to go on a hike every time you hang out? Is that what you're telling me right now? Is that what you're going to say that to my face?
Think of a friend that doesn't like to go outside.
Really? I'm having a hard time thinking of one that does besides like the people who've been on my podcast.
Well, geez, what the heck?
I just said the people who, besides the people who've been on the podcast. I have a lot of people that I grew up with that don't like going outside. Nobody in any band that I've ever been in would go on a hike with. No. My one friend Derek would. Shout outs to you, Derek, because you're cool as hell.
Way to go, Derek.
But none of they'd be like, this sucks. It's cold. I don't like being out here. I got dirt on my shoes. They all wear like skate shoes. I grew up being like a punk ass metal kid.
Oh, stop.
I did. Like I don't want mud on my etnies. That's a fact. You know the type. Scumbag metal dudes. That's everyone I've ever known in my whole life. They'll claim the title.
The one super metal. Oh boy, the one
ripped your headphones
super
out.
metal guy I know.
Tyler.
I don't know. Yeah, he likes to go outside.
Yeah, but he's a different breed.
He is a different breed, man.
I need to get him on here.
Bless his heart. You think you do?
He's also a reenactor. I used to work with
He
him.
is. He got me into reenacting.
He got
Sort
you into
of.
reenacting.
He got me into.
That's
reenacting,
where
yeah.
we went off freaking topic with your damn forest bathing. We were talking about you
sorry.
reenacting.
Oh,
We went on this long tangent
Sure.
about how it's spiritual.
yeah. I reenact. My persona is a.
Let's go right back into it.
I'm a French fur trader. We have a lot of French influence in the Northwest Ohio area. I see what you did there.
That's yes.
Yeah,
and
I got you.
French.
I'm working on a little bit of French, but I didn't take French. I took 4 years of Spanish. I don't know a lick of Spanish.
Nobody does.
That's okay. Nobody uses it. Anyway, yeah, so we have a lot of French fur trader kind of influence around this area. In fact, some of our townships are actually named after some French fur traders we got.
Marquette.
Sure.
I think that's Michigan.
Providence, Waterville, both of those had huge French fur trader.
Those just sound like
influences.
generic names.
But they're not.
Waterville? The one that's right on the banks of the Maumee River where all the water is?
Yeah,
Waterville? That's French?
sure.
Oui. How is that French?
I'm just saying.
Je
There-
doute oui, but why?
I don't know what you're saying.
I don't either. I just
See,
French,
you would
French
be
syllables.
Paul. You would be perfect French fur trader reenactor. It's so easy.
Hey, you guys looking for some fur?
There you go. I got a lot of beaver. That's what it's all about.
I'm crying. They can see it on camera if they watch it online, but
Oh, yeah.
I'm physically crying right now.
Sorry, I did that.
Hey, you guys need some fur? Open up my trench coat. Like, I got a lot of fur.
No, not a trench coat.
That's a fur dealer.
They would come in little in bundles that would be transported by the French voyageurs who would be coming down from the Hudson Bay area.
Mm-hmm.
They'd be coming all the way down. They would, how many tons of stuff they would have? I don't know.
Many tons.
A couple tons.
At
I mean, not many, but
more than one.
Right.
Less than a billion.
but they'd be coming down with all sorts of stuff from like little metal trinkets to like just shirts, just white shirts. So actually, there's like some journal entries of like French fur traders coming in and going into a town or a village of Native Americans, and they would have all new white shirts. They would come in and they'd all have white shirts and be like, "You're too late." You'd be like, "I'm way too late. Somebody just came through here. They all got like brand new freaking shirts on."
It's like, I'm not even gonna say it. Never mind. I'm not gonna go there.
Okay,
I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna do it.
what is it going to be about?
Nothing.
Oh,
There is no the thought
Right.
will not leave my mouth. So
anyway, it's fascinating the how the history of the United States was formed around
Murder.
and murder of animals.
yeah, the buffalo, they slaughtered them, piled them up on the open plains.
You mean the bison?
The buffalo.
the North American buffalo.
Great white buffalo. Ted Nugent's going to sue me.
I don't think so, actually.
Shoot me.
I don't
Sorry.
think he is.
No disrespect to Ted Nugent. We love you, Nuge. Guess if you're kind of crazy. But I always get kind of bummed out of the lack of knowledge we have about the Native Americans in this area. There's not much that people know. And I've actually, in school, in University of Toledo, taking an anthropology degree, I was super interested in this, and nobody knew anything. There's just not that much research.
No. Well, it's not that there's not that much research. It's just that there's not that much time for educators to talk about it.
Okay.
Like,
I see it.
when are we talking about Native Americans, right? Like, I think the Native American block is like third grade. Like third, maybe dabbling in the fourth grade. Maybe you talk about it again in like middle school or something.
Yeah.
But that's not that much time to talk about all the things that we know about Native American cultures in North America.
Well, not even North America. Like regionally, they just don't know that much. They got the mounds. They've got.
I mean, we dabble on like, oh, fallen timbers. A tornado went through. Anthony Wayne was there too late, and then there were less North Americans or Native Americans there, and then we beat them. Yay!
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. We don't talk about how like Anthony Wayne was a freaking nut job, and like
they named a school after him.
They name a
schools get named
Anthony
after
Wayne
nut
Generals. Yes, we're going to hold to a very high standard. Mad Anthony Wayne, who burned villages and crops and made people starve and stuff. And
they were good at that back in the day. I actually set up a meeting with the archaeology professor at UT for the show. I want to do a segment. I still want to do a segment, but they only do digs so sporadically that it's hard to schedule it. And she was telling me I actually really would like to get her on this podcast to talk about this topic because I personally don't know that much about it, and I want to know more. And I'm not like that guy.
You should be a reenactor.
Yeah. Okay. Not happening. I don't want to be that guy that's like, oh, I'm half Native American, because I'm not. I'm Polish and French and German and
nobody
American,
cares anyway.
And nobody cares. It's irrelevant at all. My last name is Fuzinski, okay? The furthest thing from Native American. I just think that their history is super important to our area in the United States. It just gets overlooked a lot.
Yeah.
And they got all these like bum-ass documentaries on Discovery Channel and Netflix, like, here's an hour special about Native Americans, and they're just the whole narrative is missing, and I want to know more about it because they had like some of the longest lasting and biggest they were like thriving when like Rome was coming up and like all these big civilizations were coming up, and they were already over here like just having their own many century civilizations, and we don't know shit about them, or at least we don't talk about it.
Yeah.
I've read books and all this stuff. I think it's so interesting.
There's a lot of research out there, but you're right on the fact that there's not that much like really hardcore primary source stuff. Because like in Rome, like you mentioned Roman Empire, like they're writing stuff down.
They're still
we know
writing
the
about
language
it.
they're talking
I
about.
don't care.
But natives didn't really have like a written documentation, and their culture was based off of stories passed down
And
through.
that's so cool.
It's sweet. But you're right. There are some missing facts there, but there are still a lot of resources available. That there are a few regional experts in the area that do talks all the time.
Well,
I'll mention like Taylor Moyer out of Henry County Historical Society.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing great presentations on Native American history. You also got Jamie Oxendine from
he was
the
a
Black
professor at UT when I was there.
Yeah.
But I graduated like the semester he started teaching there, so I couldn't take any of his classes. I was super bummed.
Oh, that is a bummer.
Yeah.
But the stuff is happening.
They have the powwow here.
Yeah, the powwow is in, I think it's at Seven Eagles now, in Grand Rapids. But
Yeah.
that's another great one. That can get a little bit like,
I've been
not that there's not good historical, accurate stuff there. But that can get a little bit of like trade showy.
Yeah,
you know what
I could see it. But the main point is, it's very interesting to learn because the culture and the history, it was so vibrant and so amazing, and we just don't know anything about it, especially locally. I'm not saying we don't know anything about Native Americans at all. There's tons of research out there, but locally, like regionally in this area, Ohio in general, like there's not that much going on. Like we got some mounds, dude. They're mounds.
Well,
You
Northwest
send me some
Ohio. I'm not gonna send you books.
Come on, send me some books in the mail that you paid for.
You know what the shipping would be on that?
I don't care. It's a gift.
You're requesting. Okay.
It's the least you could do.
I'll just see you and I'll give you a book.
I want the shipping. 2
You'll
day.
pay
please.
for the shipping.
Please, 2 day shipping.
Northwest Ohio was a pretty contested area when it comes to the development of North America. The United States. North America was already here. Duh, it's a continent.
It's been here for a while.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks at least.
Without the battles and without the events and without the treaties that all happened in our area, United States would be very different. If it wasn't for the Northwest Indian War, that's our area. If it wasn't for the Northwest Indian War, if it wasn't for the War of 1812, which had a lot of contested battles around here, if we're very familiar, the Battle on Lake Erie was a pretty big one, Commodore Perry, all that sort of jazz. If those things
Great
didn't
beer by
happen,
Great Lakes, by the way.
it's pretty good. It's my go-to, pale.
Yeah.
But if those things didn't happen, then our country may look very different. And that all happened around here.
A lot less cut off sleeve T-shirts, maybe.
Hopefully.
But anyway, not to focus on that so much.
So there's a lot here, is what I'm trying to say.
There's
a lot of cultural history here.
Maybe
go out, make some time to learn it.
Maybe the problem is I just am an idiot and talking about stuff I don't know about.
That's okay.
You're not disagreeing, so that means it's true.
I said that's okay.
You didn't disagree.
And I'm not saying I definitely don't know everything about it, but I will tell you Native American history, conflicts between English or American and the Native Americans are really great topics for the Maumee River paddles when we're doing canoe trips or kayak trips. There's so many little
there's the
stories and little bitty nuances along. There is Grave Island.
Island. You said there's skulls protruding and stuff occasionally.
Well, I think the most recent Native American remains that you're referring to, I think the most recent ones were discovered actually on Ewing Island, which is a part of the Audubon. I keep saying this over and over again. I can't remember if it's like a national wildlife refuge or if it's just like a nature.
I think it's a state nature preserve.
State nature preserve. Yep, that's it.
Why do I know that and you don't know that?
I've created a mental block. I can't get rid of it. But I think the last ones were actually found there somewhere around like 2013, 2014.
Well, I hope my bones get found on an island someday. That'd be pretty cool.
Well, you got to get buried in an island first.
Or die on it. Unburied. Bet you didn't think about that one.
It's got weird.
And now everything goes dark and we don't see Craig anymore. Goodbye, folk.
See you later. We're done now.
No, there is a lot of history around here, and I guess I just need to learn more about it before I start running my mouth. But I'm pretty good at running my mouth, so.
There's a lot there. Well, if anything, though, you're speaking from a common ground. As I don't think you're wrong in thinking that, like, nothing going on here. Like,
my entire basis is doing a pre-interview with an archaeologist, okay? She's like, there's not that much around here, man. I don't know what to tell you. That was my experience.
That's false.
We're not talking like.
I mean, granted, okay, you're not going to find like, I don't know, like all these like petroglyphs and stuff like all over cliffs and whatever. But
she's just saying that the history is not that well spelled out. Like there's not that much to know. Like they haven't found that many remains. They haven't found that many like colonies or like camps or anything. It's just kind of like there's only very little to work off of. I don't want to skew her research. This is what she does.
Okay.
I'm just saying. We had wars.
And
we had stuff.
maybe I'm just sort of
Wrong.
possibly like maybe I'm just sort of
I'm definitely wrong.
bias in that like this is the area that I'm most concerned about
You're
when
a
it comes to
reenactor,
knowing
too.
about that sort of stuff.
So you do this more than I would. I just
Right.
bring it up.
But like in comparison to like, I don't know, if you go out west or you go up like into Canada and you're talking about more like Algonquin civilizations and stuff like that, like the load of information, I don't know how it compares. So
I'm speechless. So with that being said, I don't know anything about Native Americans. You apparently know a crap ton about Native
know
Americans
nothing
in
about
Northwest
Native
Ohio.
Americans.
Craig actually said he's the most renowned Native American expert in
Nope.
Northwest Ohio.
nope.
I heard it.
Did not say
I'm going
that.
to edit this to say that. And on that note,
Nope.
do you have any sentiments that you would like to share with the world before we leave the Aptitude Outdoors podcast?
That's what we're leaving on?
That's what we're leaving on.
Oh,
You proclaiming that you're the
man.
most world-renowned Native American expert in Northwest Ohio. We really
Said nothing else.
we really went after each other at this last couple of minutes. It
Why
was
don't
very
we just
entertaining.
keep talking until the rest of this is gone, and
mine's
then
gone.
you can like cut like
I can't cut it.
pasty, like no, not
This
pasty.
is coming out
We're not.
tomorrow morning.
I'm keeping my shirt on.
Tomorrow morning.
You're keeping
This
your
is-
shirt
This
on.
is coming out unedited.
Oh,
Putting.
okay.
That's it. That's all there is to it.
Well, hey everybody, it's Craig here.
Tell everyone a nice bedtime story. Imagine someone's listening to this in their bed at home. What would you say to them to lull them to sleep? Like a what is that meditation app? Calm, like a calm bedtime story.
Okay, calm bedtime story.
Yeah. Hello, this is the French Whisperer.
When
Use a
was
French
it?
accent though.
I think it might have been, and you might need to fact check me on this. I think it was like around 2012 or something that in the Yellowstone area, in some of the common campgrounds, right? Some of the more popular ones, I mean. It was in the northern loop of Yellowstone. I don't know what the campground is called up there, but there was a grizzly bear acting predatory.
They do that sometimes.
It's really rare. In fact, it's the only documented case of a grizzly bear acting on predatory, I don't know, actions. Right?
Is that true?
Documented
The only case of grizzly bear
in Yellowstone.
being predatory
In Yellowstone.
of all history.
On humans. Sorry, I missed that part. On
It's
humans.
Like, well, that defies all.
Yeah.
all
Sorry. You're like, no. No. Sorry. So,
yeah.
around 2012, campground, northern Yellowstone Loop.
I know the story.
Grizzly bear, acting predatory, knew that people were in tents, jumped on one tent. Woman was inside. Grizzly bear latched on through the tent onto her arm. She yelled, and the bear got tighter. She yelled again, the bear got tighter. She
Like a
realized-
serial killer story.
She realized then that perhaps the yelling correlated with the bear getting tighter. So she stayed silent. Oh, not that silent. She stayed silent. The bear released. The bear moved on. The bear then went to another tent, jumped on the tent, found another person. There was a dog in the tent. The dog started barking very, I don't know,
Violently.
The bear was scared off. They then discovered, I don't know if it was the next morning or a couple days or whatever, but they discovered another person had been drug off this bear and partially eaten. That bear was euthanized.
This story sucks.
Good night.
And that, my friends, is the Aptitude Outdoors podcast. Good night. I thought you were going somewhere with that.
Nope. That's it.
Hey everybody, I'd like to thank you all again for listening to another episode of the Aptitude Outdoors podcast. If you can, drop us a review on iTunes and Stitcher. Also, if you'd like to put a face to that voice, you can watch this whole episode on YouTube. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'd like to thank Craig Spicer once again for coming on the show. Very knowledgeable about the outdoors. He's just a super fun dude to hang out with. So, hope to see you all again next time.